Broadcasting around the world on the World Wide Web.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Oh yeah. Broadcasting live from the Josie Network studios in downtown Medina, Tennessee. It's that time of week again. It's time for the Josie Show. Bringing you the most exciting music news and guests from around the world. Right here on the Josie Show. Please make welcome the beautiful, the talented, the lovely, America's radio sweetheart, Mrs. Josie Asantino Boone.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Josie Show. I have such a great interview for all of you today. We have David Gaschen joining me. He played the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, the national tour, over 1,300 times. So I'm really looking forward to talking to him about that and so much more. So stay tuned into the whole show. You will not want to miss a second of it. And I am just going to get right into it. Hope you enjoy this interview with David Gaschen.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. I have been looking forward to this. So I really want to start from the beginning because you have played the iconic role of the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera 1,300 times in various productions, from the original Swiss production all the way to Broadway. So I want to ask, what drew you personally to the role of the Phantom, and how did you make it your own?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. I was actually majoring in business at Texas Tech University in 1989. And I was in choir. I was doing some musical stuff. I was doing some opera scenes and stuff in the Texas Tech music department, but I was majoring in music. The fall of 1989, my parents took me to New York to sing at a cousin's wedding. And the week before, we saw some shows. And the first show I saw was Anything Goes with Patti LuPone and Howard McGillin. And I was blown away because I'd never seen a Broadway show. I was totally blown away. Then the next night, we went to go see The Phantom of the Opera with the original cast with Michael Crawford. And I was on the fence deciding, do I want to sing for a living, realizing it's difficult to make a living as a singer, on average. Sure. And I saw Michael Crawford do The Phantom, and I looked at my parents after the show and I said, I've got to do that part.
Wow. Yes,
and
right there.
Literally 10 years to the date, almost to the date. I missed it by maybe 2 weeks, but in 10 years and 2 weeks to the date, I made my Broadway debut as Phantom in 1999.
Wow. That's incredible. Wow, what a moment for you. I mean, everybody dreams about, especially, in New York, to, be a part of a Broadway company. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And to be able to do that, I'm sure, of course, can be stressful there in the beginning. And I'm sure it's quite a lot of work. So how did you get through it at that point in your life?
Well, I was, when I first started, I was in Basel, Switzerland, and I was 26. And I was cast as the Phantom in Basel, Switzerland, and we actually sang it in German, which was another added kind of difficult thing to get through, was to memorize all these lines in German. But I thought, okay, do I want to work really hard here, or do I want to deliver Schlotsky sandwiches like I was before?
Right.
So I thought, let me think for a second. Be the Phantom or deliver Schlotsky's? I think I'll do the Phantom.
Yes.
And so I worked really hard at that, and then I did it for 2 years in Hamburg, Germany, and my wife and I lived in Europe for 4 years, and then we moved back to New York. And as God would bless me, 3 days after I moved to New York, there was an opening for a Phantom understudy on Broadway. I auditioned and got it, and I worked as hard as I could. I knew it'd be a whole different feel because it's actually Broadway. I was living a dream. I mean, like you said, it's everybody. That's the goal, is to get to it. It's the major leagues of theater. It's It's as competitive as trying to get into Major League Baseball or the NFL or NHL,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was just blessed. I was overwhelmed with joy that I got to do it. Then I made my debut in the ensemble, and then November 8th, 1999, I made my debut as Phantom, and it was surreal. It was a surreal feeling. I thought I'm in the exact spot that I dreamed about doing 10 years ago.
Oh, insane. That is amazing. And the Phantom is one of the most vocally demanding roles in musical theater. I mean, how did you manage vocal health during that time? Because I know that's actually something you currently teach your students now. So how did you get through that and maintain the vocal cords there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like being an Olympian sometimes. You have to
Right.
really you have to be dedicated, you have to be determined, and you have to be disciplined.
Mhm.
I was given a gift by having the best voice teacher a guy could have in college. John Gillis is his name, and he taught me how to keep my voice healthy.
Mhm.
The technique he taught me. It's a lot about technique. Singing technique can really save you in many instances. If you learn a
Mhm.
really good technique, make sure you keep the air underneath your breath, underneath your voice. Keep the air going, keep breathing, making sure you're using that, and not just singing, so-called from your throat with
Right.
nothing underneath it. Then you drink as much water as you possibly can. You try to avoid too much alcohol. Don't, if you
Mhm.
like wine, have a glass of wine, but don't drink the whole bottle.
Exactly.
Um,
Mhm.
and that's good for anything, I think.
Yes,
But
absolutely. Mhm.
and eat well, exercise, make sure that your body is taken care of. But most of all, with your vocal cords, since they're so small and they're in your
Mhm.
throat, they're taking in all of the atmosphere that you are in. It's not like you can pull your vocal cords out of a case and start playing them,
Right.
right? Like a
Mhm.
violinist or a trombonist or whatever.
Yes.
Your instrument is in your body. It's the valve in between your lungs and the outside world. So any dust, any atmosphere, any smoke, anything that you're breathing in is going right by your vocal cords. So
Right.
you want to make sure and protect those as much as possible. And a lot of times it meant sacrificing going to a party after the show, or
Mhm.
going out with friends, going late, staying up late. Sleep is by far the most important part to keep your voice healthy besides water.
Right.
Sleep and water are the thing, but that's what I did. And once we had two kids when we lived in, by the time we moved away from New York, we were living in Connecticut, and I was commuting into New York. It's about an hour commute. And
Oh, wow.
we had two kids by then. So the sleep kind of went away.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there was not as much sleep as I want, but if the technique is strong, you'd be amazed about what your body can do if you have good technique singing. That can save anybody. And that's what I try to teach my kids, is that same technique that I learned. That it was a classical technique. It was an operatic technique to sing bel canto opera. And
Mhm.
I tweaked it to fit the style that you have to sing in musical theater. I still use the same thing. I still use the same breathing. I still try to do the exact same technique that I was taught, and I teach my kids that, but we tweak it a little bit more to fit more of a conversational sound for musical theater. Because it's
Right.
about, in musical theater, it's about the words, it's about the lyrics.
Mhm.
And in opera, I don't want to say it's not about that, but it's more about the music is intrinsically in there. The drama is intrinsically within the music. It's played. The music brings out the drama, because, to be honest, most operas are in a foreign language. You're in Italian or
Mhm.
German, whatever.
Yeah.
And to be able to bring that drama, you have to have it in the sound of your voice. So it's not so much everybody understanding the words, especially if you're singing in America. They're not going to understand what you're saying anyways, unless they speak that language.
Sure.
But it's about, with musical theater, it's all about what story can you tell. And I believe, in my opinion, for every style of music, there's a story to be told, right? Whether
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pop, Christian, country, rock. Everybody who wrote a song, if anybody's ever written a song and performed it, It is a story. It's a story that they wanted to tell from their heart, and it's our duty as the performer to convey that story in our way, to make sure that the audience understands it.
Wow, that is so interesting. I mean, if this is any indication of what your masterclass is going to look like on September 19th, our listeners are in for a ride, because you go through it all. And that's what I love, is that you teach people, of course, how to take care of vocal health, but also for a story. Because if you, like you said, it doesn't matter what genre you're in, or, of course, musical theater, you have to tell the story. You know what I mean? Of what the song is about. And I love that you go through all of that. And so David Gaschen Voice Studio is your studio, and that's in Texas, right?
Yes, it's a David Gaschen Voice Studio. It's on my website at davidgaschen.com.
Perfect. And I wanted to ask you, because I'm sure people are going to ask me, are you able to teach via Zoom as well for those that may not be in the area?
Absolutely. Because of the advent of COVID, I had to switch to all Zoom, because we couldn't be in the, at that point singing, which, you don't know you're doing it, but you're spitting. It was a deadly weapon.
Right.
So you couldn't be in the same room. So I had to teach Zoom for 3 years that way, 2.5 years. So, and I now I teach kids who are in New York, some are in Utah, doing summer theater. I've done some in LA, some, try to get the time zones right, but Zoom is just, it's not as proficient, I would say, as in person, but it gets the job done. We can do it. I just love having the energy of the live person,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I teach tons of Zoom classes. I can teach anybody through Zoom. Yeah.
That's fabulous. And for those, you said, of course, we can go to the website. Can you give out that website for us, please?
Yeah, it's www.david, D-A-V-I-D, Gaschen, G-A-S as in Sam, CHEN.com.
Perfect. Please make sure you check that out, everyone. And I have to say, we are so excited to have you part of the Josie Music Award festivities this year. You'll be, of course, conducting a masterclass on vocal health and so much more at our JMA Music Conference at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center, September 19th, everybody. But we are just so looking forward to it, because I think it's very needed. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think that they can just sing and then that's it, but you have to be able to maintain it in the long run. The voice.
Absolutely.
Especially if you want to be a singer, if this is what you want to do, you want to make sure you don't damage, anything.
Yeah. And, for instance, my hometown just hosted George Strait at the AT&T Stadium, the Texas Tech football stadium.
Yeah.
And of 2 nights of 75,000 people each night. And he's in his 70s, I think. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's a great example of, he took care of himself. He did the right things to take care of his voice. Right. It's George Strait music is an opera, so it's maybe not as demanding on the voice, but it's still, he's done so much and has such a big repertoire of music and a huge library of music that to be able to do a 2-hour concert 2 nights in a row when you're in your 70s is quite impressive. I mean, and that goes to show about what taking care of your voice can do, because it's not just about a flash in the pan. Right. It's about longevity of your career. You don't want just a one song wonder and go on and then you anymore. You want to be able to extend that for as long as you want to sing.
Yes, absolutely. It's so important. And I'm just really looking forward to having you there. I think this is something that really we needed, in our opinion. We really needed it. And we're really looking forward to it. And I wanted to bring up something, because I find this such an inspiration for those who may be dealing with it currently. You had to fight one of the toughest battles I think anybody can. And you, I believe now you're actually cancer free. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you went through such a tough time?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It is a tough battle to fight. I started in 2017, my left tonsil swelled up. Yeah. And it wouldn't go down and it didn't hurt or anything. So my ENT finally took it out, and it was a thing called mantle cell lymphoma, which is it's a B non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that is very rare. It's only 6% of lymphoma patients have it. And it usually only hits men in their 60s to 70s. And I got it when I was 48. You know, the only time I think I've ever been an overachiever, I finally get it when I'm get the cancer, but whatever. I got that, and there was no other cancer in my body that took scans. So they said, we don't want to give you chemotherapy if we don't see any other cancer in your body.
Sure.
So I did a watch and wait for 5 years, which was, it was great. I didn't have to take any treatment, but it was stressful. Every time you took a PET scan or you took a CAT scan or anything like that, took a test, a blood test, it was nerve-wracking. There's like a little, most patients would say, most, cancer warriors would say there's always a little cloud there, even though you're in remission, there's a little cloud that kind of hangs over saying I could come back at any time, mine didn't come back for 5 years. And then after literally almost on the 5-year anniversary, my right tonsil swelled up. So they took that tonsil out, and it was mantle cell lymphoma. Then they took a PET scan, and it had progressed. So I started immunotherapy, which is a miraculous drug. It was 5 years before that, when I would have had to have taken treatment, it would have been heavy doses of chemotherapy. And in 5 years, the research was so advanced that what it was 2 pills a day. And every other month, I would get an infusion of a Rituxan, is the name of the medicine that I took. And it would be 2 years of that. And it was hard to believe that a pill, you look at this pill and it knows exactly what to do to stop the cancer from forming and stop it from growing. But it did. And I just finished 3 years of treatment. I did 1 year of full regimen and then 2 years of maintenance therapy. And I'm in full remission, and I feel great. And with immunotherapy, you don't lose your hair. There's some side effects, but not too serious. You still get to live somewhat of a normal life. But it's funny, you're taking immunotherapy and your immune system goes down. It takes your immune system down. So I had to watch that being a singer, which was difficult. That was the main side effect that really affected me, is that I would get sinus infections a lot, and I couldn't sing. So it was difficult to do some of that. I had to really watch what I was doing. So, but I'm great now. And for all those listening who are fighting cancer, you just keep fighting. Never, ever quit, because you never know what the advance in research will do they'll find a cure for your cancer. That's what I'm holding on. My cancer doesn't have a cure. Mantle cell lymphoma does not have a cure, but it's treatable. So it can elongate your life and give you quality of life with the treatments that are coming out without, chemotherapy kills everything. I mean, it kills it all. So, and that's why it makes it so hard on your body. But immunotherapy is a targeted therapy towards certain cells in your body. And it allows you to have a life. So I'm a cancer survivor, and for all those who are out there who are going to be there, I'd love to talk with you at the Josies. If you want to talk, don't be hesitant or scared to bring up my cancer battle, and I would be glad to talk with anybody, because everybody needs a good word.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the reason why I brought it up is because, as a singer, and it being in your throat, I mean, that's so terrifying, for a singer. And what I love about you is that you didn't let it stop you. You kept going. You're now able to tell your story and help so many others that may be in the same position right now. And just keep going. I love that.
It gives me, it's a testament to God. I'm a believer, and I without the smart people he put in this world to take care of me, I wouldn't be here right now. So it's he's the one who's fighting the battle for me, and I try to just fight my own battles and just try to go on and keep teaching, keep singing, keep performing, and trying to bring the joy to people.
Amen. God is so good every day. And yes. And thank you so much, David, for joining me. And we look forward to chatting with you here real soon at the JMAs, September 19th. And then you'll also be presenting, of course, the next day at the award show at the Opry House. So we're looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Yes, we're going to have a great, great time. Everyone, please make sure you go and check out David Gaschen on his website and also all over. You're on social networking sites as well. I know you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
Perfect.
It's just David Gaschen at both of them. David A. Gaschen is my Facebook, and then David Gaschen is my Instagram. And I'm doing some TikToks too. So if you're bored, you can flip through some of my TikToks under David Gaschen. So
fun. I love it. Perfect. I'm going to follow you there now because I follow you everywhere else.
Oh, good.
Yes, perfect. Everyone, please make sure you do. Thanks again, David. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. God bless.
God
Bye-bye.
bless. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Josie Show today, and thank you to my special guest, David Gaschen, for chatting with me, and we just can't wait to see him at the Josie Music Awards this year. But yes, it was such a great, fun interview, so thank you so much, David. And my next show is May 18th with Barry Corbin. So tune into that right here at josieshow.com or anywhere that you stream us, and we'll see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.